Let's talk about PCOS, baby. Let's talk about ovaries. Let's talk about all the bad things and the bad things, cause there's only bad things. Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and welcome back to another maybe honest review. We're talking about products. I'm gonna be honest. I guess that's how we're gonna categorize it. So my ovaries got the polycystic syndrome. My hair's still drying. I'll put her down. She's not looking too bad. This video is sponsored by me. It is brought to you by me. It helps me. And hopefully you, if you also feel like you have some of these problems, and then you can take this information and then go take it to your healthcare provider and maybe have some solution for you. So a long time ago, I missed my period for 3 months, had no baby in uterus, and I went to the doctor and they're like, well, you probably have PCOS. Here's some birth control. And I'll fix it. Story over. Conclusion. Book closed. It might just be me, but I believe women have had ovaries since women have been alive, and I believe PCOS has probably been around for a very long time. Yet somehow we're here in 2025 with no solutions, little conversation, and a lot chat GPTing. So I'm gonna rewind it back to May when I had like a huge flux of my hormones. I have been, actively trying to do some sort of weight loss, weight management, whatever. I love my body. It's sexy, it's beautiful, but I want it to be as healthy as it can be so that I can do all my flips, kicks, jumps, and I can be kicking it till I'm 100, just like my grandma who died happy, healthy, and fat on her 100th birthday. I don't think she took vitamins. So maybe I'll live more to 100. Anyway, so I've been doing some intermittent fasting because that's something I have done in the past. It helps with my schedule. I like the mindset that it puts over my body where I kind of am more in tune with my body. Like I can really listen to real hunger cues versus like, chocolate sounds really good right now. Because chocolate always sounds good. And I am very physically active. I do strength training. I do my little kicks and flips and all the fun things. I think that's just like kind of a weekly testament to show how fit I am, that I can be like, oh yeah, I'm moving. I'm agile. I'm doing the things. That's kind of like a good little assessment every week that I get to do for myself. Like, you're doing pretty good. The majority of my meals are homemade because I have a dairy allergy, and so I don't like eating out a lot. So with all of that, I'm around 200 pounds. It kind of fluctuates within about a 10-pound ratio ever since having my second child. So I'm doing all these things, and I'm seeing maybe a pound of weight loss a month. Like, it's not a lot, and it's fluctuating up and down, as weight does. If you are not aware that weight fluctuates on any given time of the month, this is your wake-up call. So stop weighing yourself every week. Your weight is gonna fluctuate based on what time of your period you're in, or if you ate something, or if you're doing something. It just fluctuates. I think weight can be one small indicator of the big puzzle that you're putting together of what is health. And so it's a good thing to just be aware of. But it's not something you're putting all of the puzzle pieces on the scale. It's just one piece. Take my soapbox, I'm gonna put it over here. Back to the story. So I decided to film my comedy special, which is not out yet, but you can come to my new comedy show, or you can buy fun t-shirts that I have on Etsy, brought to you by me. So I'm gonna film my comedy special. I've worked in Hollywood for a long time. The camera truly does add 10 pounds. I just wanna look my absolute best. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna film the special if I'm not a certain weight or a certain dress size. I just wanna be in the best condition possible. Also, because I am running, jumping around, and singing, I need to be in peak physical condition to do all the things that I do. So in preparation for this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna switch it up to alternate day fasting. Something I have done in the past that I personally like when it has fit the time of my life in the schedule. Well, this wasn't one of them times that it fit in the schedule. I had all this stress from doing a show and putting it all together and filming it and doing all these things, and then made up stress because ADHD. And then I was doing alternate day intermittent fasting, which even though has been a great thing for me in the past, it was not a good thing right now when I was doing all this. I shouldn't have done this when I did this, but I didn't know. So at the time, I was weighing myself weekly. When I upped my fast from like 16-hour fast to the alternate day fast, I got on my little scale here so I can see all the information. I was all the way down to 200. I can't remember if that was the first week of the alternate day fasting or I was still doing the 16-hour fast. I feel like this was through the 16-hour day fast, and then I pumped it up to I was like, okay, let's do alternate day fast. And I gained weight. I went up 1.8 pounds. I was like, whoa, that's weird. Normally you don't fluctuate up at all, especially on the first week whenever you're like changing a diet. Normally it always fluctuates down. But I know enough about weight fluctuation that doesn't really bother me as much. So I was just like, whatever, keep doing our thing. So then the next week, I went up another 3.6 pounds. I gained 5 pounds in 2 weeks and I wasn't eating anything. So I was like, there's something wrong. I need to stop that immediately. My show was in a few days. I was like, this is clearly not working, and just worry about the show and stop worrying about all these things. After this, stress of the show, all the things, I'm not thinking about weighing myself. I'm just like getting all that. So it's 2 weeks later, I weigh myself. I am 208.4. In 1 month, I gained 8 pounds. Which I then had a colonoscopy a couple days later, and just through the cleanse of all of that stuff, I lost 5.5 pounds. But no need to worry, because the next day, what did I gain? I gained 4.1 back. It's fine. I only had a net loss of 1 pound. So throughout the summer, my weight just kind of steadily went up. I was still weighing myself, and I kind of saw it go up and down, and I was trying to make adjustments and seeing what I tried a lot of high protein diet. I tried the different things. You know, we tested out. But I wasn't doing the honest review for what you guys normally see, because I wasn't a good specimen. I only like to do honest reviews when I am a good specimen for the subject. So you're getting the honest review of all the things I've been having to deal with for like basically the past 5 months with my PCOS. I gained 15 pounds over the 3 months of the summer without changing anything in my diet, without changing any exercise, without changing nothing. The other thing is I was having all of this jawline acne, and I have not had any major jawline acne since I cut out dairy. I got diagnosed with eosinophilic esophagitis, which is normally attributed to a food allergy or allergies, and I pinpointed mine to dairy based off of what had happened before the event. And so I cut out dairy, and what I noticed was my face cleared up, and anytime I would also have dairy, like if dairy was in something, I could feel the sensation in my throat, but I would always get a breakout. Well, I was very dairy free. I don't want anything messing with my gut. I had my EOE scope coming up, and I was having all of this jawline acne. So I'm like, well, I know it's not dairy. It is clearly hormones. So I have a huge weight fluctuation up. I wasn't pregnant, and then I had all this acne. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. This is hormones. So what did I do with my privileged insurance? I went and found an endocrinologist. And I found this very sweet man who listened to every single problem I had and all of the things that I explained to you, but even in more detail. We ran an entire panel on all my hormones, and I stopped taking birth control, and we ran the panel again to see kind of what was controlling, what was not. And based on all the information, he's like, it's pretty clearly PCOS. Let's put you back on hormonal birth control, because that's the big thing that helps control PCOS. And then he also recommended you should probably go on semaglutide, one of those GLP-1s, because those are great for hormone balance. I have read so much about GLP-1s, and people say that they use them for hormone regulation. There are people, I've read their stories where they don't even want to lose weight, and they don't lose weight on the GLP-1 because they're purely just trying to microdose it to control a different hormone issue. And I've seen it also that it helps with like arthritis and joints and stuff like that, inflammation. And so he recommended that. However, my insurance is like, well, you have to go through this whole protocol that takes about 3 months to do before we'll give you a GLP-1, because even though we're great insurance and you paid a shit ton of money to us, we ain't giving you the medicine your doctor wants to give you until we think it's okay. So at this point, I go and looking for a PCOS specialist near me. If I'm gonna have somebody working on my PCOS, I want the best of the best because I'm privileged. I grew up without insurance, but now I got insurance, so I'm living the privileged life. But the problem is I live in America, and I couldn't get an appointment with this PCOS specialist until March of 2026. All of this happened in September. 6 months. 6 months. Any other American out there who remembers the late 2000s, early 2010s, where they're like, yeah, Canada has universal health care, but you have to wait like 6 months to get into a doctor's office because they have a priority line, blah, blah, blah. People die waiting on the waiting list. That's happening in America, but I have to pay for it. Anyway, soapbox, how do you keep getting over here? Stay over there. So I got 6 months until a specialist. So I went to my good old friend ChatGPT. And I started telling her all of the things I have. And this is where this video comes into play. This is what she recommended to me. And this is what I've been taking for about the past month, 6 weeks to help manage my PCOS. Side note, you should always talk to a healthcare professional. You shouldn't go to YouTube for advice. I feel like YouTube prompts you to kind of think of like what other people are going through, so then you can ask those questions. That's how I got also to this point. I watched a YouTube video that talked about how PCOS symptoms and thyroid symptoms basically mimic, mirror, whatever. They're the same symptoms, but you normally do not have PCOS and thyroid. So she was talking about this is a specific panel you should get for your thyroid check, not just the basic one that they always order, but here's like the extra ones. And so because of that video, So I went and talked to the doctor and they ordered me that panel because I have a family history of thyroid issues. So that way I could just 100% rule out which one should we be treating, the thyroid or the PCOS. By this point, I have earned a doctorate, or at least a nurse practitioner. So I did the thyroid panel and all of mine came out great, and I was so happy I did that because now I know it is PCOS, and I have my appointment with the person in March, but I'm gonna treat stuff and do things in the interim. So that's where ChatGPT comes in. You know, disclaimer, don't be a dummy. Talk to your doctor. Anytime you ask ChatGPT anything, say, ChatGPT, tell me all the sources. Give me the resources. That's what I do with ChatGPT. Me and ChatGPT would just be chatting. We're telling each other all our secrets, and we're having a slumber party, and then she like condenses everything for me. And then when I only have 5 minutes with my doctor, I can be like, hey, this is what I know. Here's a summary of all of the ramblings I just had with ChatGPT, and then they're able to help me better. But disclaimer, don't be a dummy. So here are my supplements that I take. The first one recommended was Ovasitol, inositol powder supplement. And no, I'm not gonna give you the same advice that our head of health in America gives you. If I can't pronounce it, then you can't take it. It's bad for you if you can't pronounce it. That's bullshit. Anyway, talk to your own doctor. This bad boy has been studied and tested that it helps improve insulin, helps control your blood sugar. My blood sugar was fine, so I don't have blood sugar issues. But it improves your insulin response, which the insulin response, even if your blood sugar is good, how your insulin is responding when you put stuff in your body, blah, blah. That shit could be the thing that's like messing up your system, even though your blood sugar tests are all good. So that can help with that. And it says it can also help sugar and sweet cravings. I didn't believe that. I still crave sugar just the same. You're supposed to take 2 scoops a day. I started taking this first and I didn't notice like any crazy difference in anything. But this thing was the most studied based on all the information that is out there as a supplement that is good for you for PCOS and hormone support. It's one of those things, if it's not hurting me, then I'm okay with just taking it, because even though I don't notice a difference, it might be helping in ways that I don't really know. However, it also says that you probably won't be seeing any major results until you've been taking it for 3 months. And I'm only half that way in, so you know, we'll see. With this alone, in a month, I lost a pound. And that might not seem like a lot, and weight isn't the whole point of everything, but what it does tell me, at least I didn't gain any weight. At least it kind of did something, I guess, in that terms. This is one of the times where it's like, if you don't have other units of measurement, then maybe weight is the only one that you can kind of use to understand something going on. Acne was still, it still hasn't gone. It's still here. It's alive and well. I had these TikTok famous things I was gonna try and do a review on, but I started taking them around the same time that all this shit was going on. So I stopped taking them and I asked ChatGPT, do I need these? She's like, maybe you could use a probiotic, but like it depends on what you're getting in your body. And then based on a bunch of things, I don't need the probiotic. The digestive enzymes, she was like, you know, that's good if you like are having a carb heavy meal and you need help with digestion. If you have a good digestion, you don't need it. And I was kind of like, I don't think I need this because I feel like my digestion is really good. So didn't take that either. Thanks, TikTok shop sellers, for nothing. All you skinny little bitches finding pictures of yourself 3 months ago when you're super skinny and you're using it to sell a product, I hope you burn in hell. Soapbox, tell me how you really feel. Okay. This funny intermission brought to you by Elisabeth's t-shirts. Make that ass clap. Supplement 2, omega-3s. When she recommended this, I was like, you know what? Omega-3s are good. Everybody likes them. But you know what I do? Anytime before I take a supplement, I always Google and see what I am eating has this. And I don't really like fish. And the fish I do like, which is tilapia and mahi-mahi, because it doesn't have the fishy taste, are not high in omega-3s. You need to be eating salmon. If you're eating salmon on the regularly, like twice a week, I believe, I think you're good. But if you're not, you should probably get some omega-3s. These ones are the mini ones because I can't swallow big ones. Not like that, you pervert. But ever since my EOE, because I had a choking incident and it really messed me up on my swallowing. So I cannot do too large of pills. I have this little guy. Just take one of these twice a day. I take them with meals because I try to make it act like it's like with a meal. Not pictured because I'm waiting on my Amazon fulfillment to come in is I got a calcium, magnesium, zinc, and D3 supplement. It is my favorite supplement. I absolutely need it because since I am dairy-free, I get really no calcium. This came out of nowhere where I was like a year ago, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't have dairy. Am I getting calcium? And so I started Googling all of the food I eat, regular meal of the day. And I was like, holy shit, I get no calcium. So if you're dairy-free, you're vegan, you're not getting a lot of milk in your day or yogurt. Those aren't like normal food groups in your thing. Maybe if you have whey protein powder, you're getting some calcium in. You know, do a check on things. So I had my like calcium tab, but it sucked because it was really big and it was chalky and I like had to just break it up. And then ChatGPT is like, well, you need to have some magnesium and zinc supplement. I was like looking for that and this one popped up. So it had my calcium with the D3 because most calcium has the D3 in it because you gotta have the D if you want the calcium. You gotta put that D in it or else it don't work. Magnesium is supposed to help with insulin and work with your cortisol, which if we go back to May, I believe what happened is that like my cortisol spiked. I was already in a stress elevated state due to doing a large project and then I just made my body physically stressed by adding in the change in diet that was not helpful, which that could be helpful in a different time, but it's not helpful when you're already in a stress state. And I think that like just big shift of cortisol just like threw all of my shit that was kind of like, you know, we were maintaining it a little bit. It brought it all to the surface, which, you know, is a little bit of a blessing when that happens, as long as it's not a severe thing, because then it forces you to be like, oh, there's a problem. I need to get help for this. And then the zinc is supposed to help with the testosterone, which I knew mine was elevated, and it helps with the hormone support. So I was hoping with acne, it said with acne, but again, it didn't help. At least it hasn't helped so far. And then the big daddy I started taking this month, Berberine. Apparently this shit is the holy grail. It said that it acts like metformin, which is a prescribed drug. So it basically mimics a prescribed drug, but it is a natural supplement instead. The big claims is that it helps with insulin sensitivity. If you have PCOS, that's the whole thing, is your insulin is jacked. It says it's also supposed to help with testosterone levels and then also help with your hormone support, possibly reduce sugar cravings. So you're supposed to take it after your first couple bites of food, up to 3 times a day. So you only take it with meals and you have to take a couple bites of food and then you take it. And what I have noticed on this is it makes your food expand. I can't remember exactly. It just makes me feel fuller. So I think that's where the mimicking of metformin is. I was eating the same portion meals and I couldn't finish my meals and I was like, oh damn, well that's good to know. And this honestly is what prompted me to make this video. We will see long term, because again, and just because something happened for me doesn't mean that it's going to help and happen for you. This has been a long journey and I am not even close to the end of it. I haven't had my doctor's appointment. I haven't done so many things. We are just trying and testing and sharing the information, and maybe just watching this video, it makes you feel like you're not the only one who is struggling through it. So many women have to go through PCOS and we all don't have shit information. So here's just one more video letting you know you're not alone, and here's something I tried. Please talk to your doctor with things. But with the Berberine this past month, I lost 4 pounds and I did not change anything in my diet. My diet was the same. For like a hot minute, I tried to like pay attention to macros, maybe for like a week or 2, not this month, but like the month prior. I think it was helpful to do for a couple weeks because I think it was more of just like understanding the food you're putting in your body. It's the same reason like calorie counting. I don't think calorie counting is something you should do your entire life, but I do think it is something good to do when you're just kind of being aware of what your body is doing. Because you might be like, oh, I'm not losing weight, and then you actually track every single calorie and you're like, oh, I had no idea I was eating 3,000 calories in the day. Maybe not that extreme, but you get it. And same thing with macros. I feel like it was just good to know what meals kind of had a more balanced, or how something so small could like tip everything into the favor of like, wow, that's really high carb. I was just thinking about the protein, but look how much carbs I put in there. It was like a crap ton of fat. So I think it was just kind of helpful to see overall what meals I was eating regularly and kind of how they favored. So for the past month, I hadn't been counting macros, but I have been mindful of just trying to make sure there's kind of protein in everything I eat. I still do intermittent fasting. I listened to the book Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz, and I have like a kind of guide from her where it shows that when you're on a different phase of your period, like depending on which week you're at, that puts how much fasting you should do. Especially the week of your period, your body is already under a shit ton of stress because doing all the things that's magical that your body does to shed all the uterus line, like that shit is magic. Anything from this, your uterus is magic. But your body's already being stressed out from that shit. You shouldn't be doing a long fast because then it's like, no, we need food. We need to renourish. So that book was also very helpful. And I'll have all of this in the description with clickable links so you can see the things, just so you can have whatever information you want to take. So I've been doing intermittent fasting on a very loose trend, depending on my day, how I'm feeling, what's going on. If I'm already in a stress state of being for mental, I got something going on, I'm making sure I'm having a smoothie that day at the very least, just to make sure my body is getting the awareness that I'm not neglecting it. It doesn't need to be in fight or flight, trying to lower those cortisol. I think for me, I just need to lower the cortisol. Who would know I needed to lower cortisol? I'm never upset. We yell because it's fun. PCOS is experienced by so many people, but it is a personal experience, and what works for one person might not work for you. What problems somebody has with PCOS might not be the same problems you have. I know for a fact I ain't got no hair loss, okay? This hair will never leave me. This hair is gonna be thick and luscious forever. Thank the hair gods. I appreciate you. But my exercise is the same. I continue with my light strength training and cardio workouts. I added all these supplements are new. I keep taking my normal multivitamin that I've taken for 9 years. And then just for food intake, I do really try to make sure I'm putting some good protein into every meal. If I am having chicken for dinner, I try to make sure that portion is 5 ounces of raw chicken. I know it comes down to like 4 or something when you cook it, but I try to make that those protein portions are larger because protein is directly linked with being fuller longer. But I absolutely have my delicious sweet treats. Sometimes I might make protein ice cream though, if it just depends on where I'm at in my day. If I need some protein, if this isn't a dessert, but it's been a few hours and I'm hungry, I shouldn't just be munching on some chips. I should figure out how I can put some good protein in my body. Oatmeal, protein yogurt, making it ice cream, all these things, or even just like a protein drink. That's as little management as I've done. And so this is... I share that 4-pound weight loss with a breath of reluctance because if you have PCOS, you know that it just kind of fluctuates. So even though that is this month, we'll see how next month goes. And if you like this video, let me know. If you have PCOS, tell me what you're going through and your symptoms. I'll do an update. But in the end, I love my body. I appreciate my body. All the hard work it does for me. I do not doubt it for 1 second. I don't care how fat she is. She's let me live a beautiful, glorious life. And I hope you say the same thing about your body if you're going through this, or if you're not going through this and you just wanted to listen and hear someone talk about something they're going through. I love that we just share our experiences in this thing called life. Let me know if you like this, and as always, thanks for watching.